Good morning, everybody. We're here in Jerusalem, at Notre Dame of Jerusalem, and it's a glorious morning. Barely any cloud, a beautiful sunrise, and I know you're coming in now into the video, into the live stream, but you might want to hear the first minute of it later when it's uploaded, because I caught the last third of an incredible bell concert, so to say, for this morning's proclamation of this Sunday. This is why the bells ring. The bells ring for proclamation. And on Sunday, it's the resurrection, the proclamation of the resurrection. And that matches the sunrise, a new beginning, a new day. I just saw something very special. I'll focus on it now for you in a second, that you'd see very much in Ireland and obviously many other parts of the world, but I rarely see here in the Holy Land and here in Jerusalem. I don't have any memory of seeing it before or noticing it, but if you look here between the King David Hotel, the YMCA Tower to the right, then you have to the left the King David Hotel, the King Solomon Hotel, and here we have the Frere School. And behind the King Solomon Hotel, it looks like you have a lake, but actually it's fog. That's interesting, isn't it? It's there in the direction of Bethlehem. And I rarely see fog here, at least in my experience. So there you have this fog this morning, a foggy morning in Jerusalem. Obviously that fog will disappear very quickly when the sun is rising. It won't last too long. Maybe let's see how much of it is there at the end of the sunrise stroll and chat, if I remember to check. So I hope you have a blessed day. Wherever you are, maybe it's nighttime for some. In Australia, New Zealand, Japan, the Philippines, Singapore, it's already midday probably, or later. You can see the Dome of the Rock right there underneath the sun. A little earlier it was clearer, but now with the strength of the sun behind it, the counterlight, the golden counterlight, doesn't set it out. It's interesting how everybody loves to be in Jerusalem. Always more people come and check in. So we have a very rich menu of readings today. And the psalm is a very good line for us, the response line. It's Psalm 92, and the response line is verse 2. Lord, it is good to give thanks to you. And you know, can I tell you about a very tough time when somebody gave thanks and praise to God? It was in a concentration camp. Could you believe that? And it wasn't just in a concentration camp. It was a selection of 10 prisoners who were being punished because somebody else managed to escape from the camp. It was in Auschwitz. And as soon as they were put into the concentration camp, the last one was picked out, was selected, was a guy called Max. And that evening, nighttime, as soon as the light of the day had finished, obviously the prisoners had gotten to know each other. They were together, locked into this room. They were going to be starved to death. That horrible cruelty of war, of torture. And they started singing hymns of praise to God. That's absolutely unbelievable. It's like you say that can't be true, but it was true. And the whole camp was stunned by their praise rising up. Lots of trains this morning at this time. We have 3 in a row right now. In the same direction. Isn't that amazing? And this guy, there were some major features to his life. I've commented on him before because he's one of my favorites, Max Kolbe. And it's just amazing how human beings can give praise. Imagine being on your hospital bed singing praise to God and thanks to God. Well, why not? Because other people maybe have illness as grievous as yours and they don't have a hospital in their country. They don't have trained nurses and doctors. Lord, it is good to give thanks to you, not just because we have a glorious morning, but in every circumstance. Yesterday, we didn't do the sunrise stroll and chat in the morning because it was teeming rain all the time. And I actually, to be very frank, all facts on the table, I didn't wake up until I think it was like 6:15. So I could still have made it. I could just get out there, put on my jacket and get out for you. But we had our retreat and the community was going to meet in the chapel just before 7. So I figured I'd send out that message and say we'll have sunrise stroll and chat tomorrow. Or no, I offered you an alternative yesterday evening, which I finally put up in the circumstances. So here we are back again. Yesterday we had heavy rain, today we have sunshine. We can always give thanks to God. We can always give thanks to God for the gift of life, for each day, for each person in our lives. And we can even go further than that, for each trial. There's an interesting imagery in the first reading. I'm not sure if any of you had the experience, but maybe you did in the kitchen. And we had it on the farm a lot. So you would sieve sand, you would sieve soil, you would sieve grain, you could sieve really any type of flour. You could sieve flour, and that's the image that's used here. And maybe you sieve flour. When you grind flour, there's the husk, and then there's the kernel of the grain of wheat or whatever the cereal is that you're working with. And when you sieve it, all the good stuff falls through, if you're looking for the small stuff, and all the husks are left over. Nowadays we know that also has a lot of important nutritional resources, but obviously the better part that's appreciated is the kernel. So it says, when a sieve is shaken, the husks appear. So do one's faults when one speaks. That's an interesting simile. So do one's faults when one speaks. So that means when we're speaking, we're making a selection of words and thoughts and sharing. Can you hear the bells? I'm not sure if my microphone picks up the bells. They're a little more distant. Not as strong as the ones here at the Franciscan Tower, which we heard at the beginning of this video. And if you didn't hear them, you should go back and hear them because they're pretty good. When a sieve is shaken, the husks appear. This is from the book of Sirach. So do one's faults when one speaks. And as the test of what the potter molds is in the furnace, So the furnace is burning out all the bad stuff, and the gold is tested. The pottery, the vessel that's being made from the clay is tested and formed. So in tribulation is the test of the just. Reward comes for doing good exams, but you have to go through the pain of the exam. The diamond is formed under tremendous pressure for a long time with amazing heat, and coal is transformed into a diamond. So these are wonderful images. In tribulation, the just is tested. In tribulation, the fruit, the just are tested. There we have the fog still. Praise no one before the person speaks, for it is then that people are tested. And some people have wonderful words of encouragement to give others. Imagine all the beautiful words of encouragement parents give their little children. And the joy they communicate when they're saying the words, their eyes light up when they see them making the first step. And the little baby, the little child opens out their arms for a big embrace. And those words are so formative of the child. They build the person, they encourage the person to keep growing, to keep pushing out into the unknown, to go deeper, to go stronger, to go with greater confidence. That affirmation, how much affirmation is delivered with beautiful words, with strong words, with motivation words, with appreciation words, encouraging words. Lord, it is good to give thanks to you, to bless. You know, the word blessing is, the way it's given in Latin, benediction. Bene is good or well. And diction, we even use the word in English, diction, dicere, benedico, to say well, to have good words. And blessing is very much that. And to bless others, to have good words for them. What a blessing that person is. And the last line of the gospel today speaks very much in this direction. A good person out of the store of goodness in their heart produces good. From the fullness of the heart, the mouth speaks. From the fullness of the heart, the mouth speaks. So we need a renewed heart. Sometimes we see the negative, we see the false, we see the problems, and there are problems, big problems, in the family and in the worldwide scale and all in between. Big challenges. How do we deal with that? How do we see it? Do we see it with a new expression that I've picked up from Pope Francis, with the flavor of the gospel? To see things with the heart of God's mercy and goodness. When a little child is beginning to walk and falls down, the parents say, "Oh, you're terrible, you made a huge mistake." No, they say, "Wonderful, wonderful, you made it further than you did the last time." So they're looking at the positive, they're looking at the growth. And we all need that. Who doesn't need a word of encouragement? I think we all need a word of encouragement. Everybody does. And it's always appreciated to be encouraged, to be appreciated. to be recognized. So our time is gone really, and it's turned the 6:30. We'll move on to Instagram. There's a lot more in the readings, a lot of good, hard, tough stuff. So I encourage you to check it out and to let the Lord renew our hearts today. Let Him pour out His grace so that we will have good to say about others, so that we will uplift others and encourage them to walk the next step, to get up again and keep going. Get doing our little selfie moment here in a second. There we go. So there we have Notre Dame. God bless you. See you later, alligators. Blessings from Jerusalem.